Thank you to our friends at Hallow for making this office possible. Now let's pray. Oh God, come to my assistance. Lord, make haste to help me. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto. Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Alleluia. Behold the voice resounding clear, rebuking hidden fears and deeds. Let dreams be driven. Today is December 5th, 2025. And I missed another reflection hour yesterday because I have been seeing as I've mentioned the reflection before, I have been experiencing a tremendous flare-up of pain. And I finished up at the Mayo Clinic, finished up my testing, my initial blood testing. Dr. Parando, my oncologist, my specialist, leads me to think that, or is led to think that the initial blood work shows that I may have responded well. Like he says 97% of the people or population respond well to the best practices treatment I have received so far with the initial chemo. And then when I mentioned to him this tremendous flare-up of recent pain, he leads me to think that it's to be expected as an inflammatory response right now. And I'm crossing my fingers that that's the situation. It's a temporary inflammatory situation. And that it's not related to my mechanical issue with my vertebrae. But the pain was so bad that I had to go to the emergency room last night to get a temporary pain relief situation. Otherwise, I could not sleep really. It got so bad, like level 8 body pain, neuropathy. At this moment, it's coming back as the pain medication from the emergency room is wearing off. It's coming back. But I feel well enough when I woke up again in my early. Maybe my body is just getting now used to the earlier rise. But as I began to feel better and not so much in pain, it seems as though I found myself reflecting as I slept. It seems like I found myself reflecting on the issue of potential avoidance of addiction situations. Because when it comes to managing this kind of pain, narcotics are the only option right now. And so I was thinking, how can we avoid misplacing our attention when it comes to pain management, when it comes to dealing with the pain of the cancer? How do we not get sidelined? How do we not get off track? And again, this is not so much a scientific or practical talk as it is Again, a spiritual oriented question. Um, in the big picture, what is addiction and how do we not go down that unhealthy path? A humble, contrite heart you will not spurn. In your goodness show favor to Zion. We built the walls of Jerusalem. In my last reflection, I made sense of pain management in the big picture with the idea that tolerating the pain and dealing with the pain of cancer is a prayer. It's a prayer. To approach it healthily, we can approach it as a prayer. Because the bigger reason for fighting the cancer, not just sheer survival, but to be here for others, to be here for loved ones, to be here for the world. That gives that fight meaning. And the toleration of the pain, the sacrifice of tolerating the pain is a part of that purpose. And so it's a part of the prayer of the fighting of the cancer. That was the summary of my last reflection on pain management. But this reflection, I think, progresses from there to what I might call addiction avoidance. Avoiding getting off track. And I was not given a strong narcotic solution last night because I really did not want a strong narcotic solution. I asked that it be something that is considered mild. And so I was given Tylenol with codeine. And it helped. It feels a little bit like oxycodone. But at this moment, as it's wearing off, I'm not feeling that agitation and that nervousness, which is good. If I focused on the sensation of the medication, I could potentially indulge in a sense of a high. But there is where my question arose. How do we not get distracted about regarding the high of the pain management? And how do we just focus on the fact of appreciating the relief from the pain itself? All you ends of the earth, for I am God, there is no other. By myself I swear, uttering my just decree, and my unalterable word. When I pondered this as I slept, it seemed like addiction is escapism. When one focuses on artificial highs, it is because one is practicing an escapism from reality. One is attempting to create an artificial, a desperate artificial reality. And that's fundamentally opposite to this whole approach of fighting cancer for the sake of others. So I'm fighting this disease for the sake of my loved ones, for my family, for the world, to be here, to be helpful, to contribute, to make the world a better place. And that's incompatible with my seeking to indulge in an artificial high. So, when it comes to the idea of avoidance of addiction, it all comes back again to one's sense of spiritual purpose and one's spiritual health. And in a very real way, it informs the whole question of addiction itself. I mean, America has a major problem with drug addiction. We have an administration that's foolishly attempting to swap the what do you call SWAT the drug dealers, uh, tackle the problem from the drug dealing side rather than the drug using side, rather than the existential issue that our country is facing. Um, there is a catastrophe of meaning in America, a tragedy, a crisis of meaning. The people, the people are lost and desperate. I don't want to make it this a political speech, but as an advocate for the New American Spring social political mission and concept, it's all about empowering the American people to be the noble, the noble human beings we are meant to be. And right now, addiction is a great sign of the sickness, the existential and spiritual sickness in America. So, as someone who finds myself fighting cancer, it sort of opens up another angle to my advocacy at newamericanspring.org. Avoiding addiction as a cancer patient, avoiding being distracted, being by the artificial high, which is only motivated by escapism. Avoiding that addiction because the fight against cancer is existentially, is spiritually well motivated, healthily motivated for others. Live for others. In a previous reflection, I spoke about that highly philosophical reflection where I featured two poems. I spoke about the fact that God is triune, three persons in one, none self-sufficient, but altogether perfect and fully sufficient, altogether in unity, in the community of God. And so God created the universe with this creation, with this fundamental seal, this fundamental nature of needing to be service oriented, giving oriented. Uh, so this can be a spiritual call to America. Refocus on living for the sake of others, for the sake of service. And this can help us to avoid the pitfalls of artificial addictions. Artificial life. An addiction is an artificial life. When we only seek to consume, to take in, to enjoy, to indulge, it's an artificial life. It is a shallow and unfulfilled life. It is contrary to the fundamental seal of creation, of giving and serving. And it just produces fallout, attrition. Um, so that's the reflection today. However, my pain might evolve, and however strong narcotics that I may have to take to alleviate the pain, if I don't think I really have to try hard to not just focus on the high, because again, the whole thing is the meaning of the fight, the meaning of my fighting the cancer, which has love as its core, the giving, the serving. So I think if we can orient ourselves to the grander purpose of love, we can avoid the dangers of artificial life and addiction. Have a good week.